This is solving equations using multiplication and division. So a reminder, an equation is saying that two quantities are equal. In an equation, we have a left side of the equal sign and we have the right side of the equal sign. One way to think of equations and keeping things balanced and equal is a scale. The scale right here I know is balanced because I have three dots on the left side and 3 dots on the right side. It is balanced, it is equal. Now what happens if I took away a dot on this left side? Is it still balanced? Well, no, this side would now be heavier. So if I took away a red dot on this side, I would have to take away a red dot on this side to keep it balanced. Same for adding. If I were to add a new red dot on this side, would my scale stay balanced? It wouldn't. I would have to add in another red dot on this right side. So similar to equations, what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side to keep it balanced. And we must always keep our equations balanced. So let's go through a few questions actually to review multiplying and dividing and how to solve these one-step equations. So let's have 64 equals 4x. How do I solve this? Well, if a number and a letter, a variable and its coefficient are side by side, what operation is happening? They're being multiplied. So this 4 is being multiplied times x. It is 4 times x. I am solving for my x, so I'm going to go ahead and circle that, and I'm going to go ahead and split my equation into my two sides so I know what two sides I have to keep balanced. What is the opposite of times 4? Opposite of multiplication is division, so I have to divide by 4. If I divide by 4 on this side, I have to divide by 4 over here. These 4s, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I'm left with just a single 1x on that right side. And if I divide 64 divided by 4, I get 16. Okay, so let's do another problem. What if we had negative 7x equals 56? So I'm solving for this x. I know that this x and this negative 7 are being multiplied together. I'm going to go ahead and split my equation down to two sides so I know what two sides I'm keeping balanced. If this x is being multiplied times a negative 7, the opposite of multiply times negative 7 is divide by negative 7. You have to keep this negative here. Keep it consistent. If I divided this side by negative 7, I have to also divide my right side by negative 7. Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is just 1. I'm left with a single x on my left side. And before I even solve this problem, I know that I have a negative and I have a positive. How am I sure what my sign of my answer is going to be? I could use this little resource of drawing a face. I have a positive 56 being divided by a negative 7. The eyes don't match, it's going to be a sad face, which means it's going to be a negative number. And 56 divided by 7 is 8. So my answer is negative 8. Negative 9x equals negative 189. I'm solving for this x. And I'm going to draw a line down this equal sign to show me what two sides I'm keeping balanced. This x is being multiplied times negative 9. What is the opposite of multiply by negative 9? Divided by negative 9. So if I divide this side, I also have to divide this side. This negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1. So I'm left with 1x, and it equals negative 189 divided by negative 9. So you'll be able to use calculators on this, and I want to go over how to type in a negative number. So this negative 189, you have to type in the number first, 189, and then press this button right here, right above the 7 to make it negative. So negative 189 divided by, you have to push the number first, 9, make it negative, it equals 21. Positive 21. Again, you can use the resource to remember how whether our answer is going to be positive or negative. We have a negative 189 being divided by a negative 9. Our eyes match. It's going to be a smiling face. It's going to be a positive answer. Now let's go over a few division problems. What happens if I have something that looks like this? x. Now, this looks like a fraction, right? And we know in our fraction, this fraction line means division. So this is x being divided by -6. X divided by -6 equals 18. What is the opposite of divide by -6? Multiply times a -6. Oops. So I'm going to write this like this. Divide by multiply times a -6. This, and oh, I forgot to split my equation in half. Okay, so I'm left with the single x and equals, before I even type this in, I have a positive 18 being multiplied by a -16. I know it's going to be a negative answer because my eyes do not match. It's going to be a negative answer. And again, you can use your calculator. We'll type in 18 times, we have to make the 6 negative. So type in the 6, and then this button right here makes it negative, and it equals -108. Okay. X over 3 equals 52. So I'm solving for this x. Go ahead and split my equation in half so I know what my two sides I have to keep balanced are. This x is being divided by 3, so what is the opposite of divide by 3? Multiply times 3. I'm left with a single x on my right side, and 52 times 3 is 156. This is a positive number being multiplied by a positive number. The eyes do match, so it is going to be positive. All right, last problem. X over -4 equals -16. I'm solving for this x. I'm going to go ahead and split my equation into 2 halves. This x is being divided by a -4. What is the opposite of divide by a -4? Multiply times a -4. I'm left with 1x, and -16 times a -4. You can type that into your calculator. Also draw this face. It's a -16 times a -4. It's matching I, so it will be a positive answer. Again, you type in the number first, followed by this button right here to make it negative, times a -4, 64. So that's 3 problems on multiplication, 3 problems on division. When it is a multiplication problem, you need to use division. And when it is a division problem, you need to use multiplication to solve equations. Hope that helped.